Outdoor antique shows are full of surprises, great people, fields full of fun antiques and vintage, and sometimes weather, which is why I got to Mount Dora really early for last month's show. I'm here before noon. I'm getting ready for Mount Dora. We are going to have some weather again, so we have to be prepared. These folks are a little ahead of me. They open at about 10, and there's a big line, and I didn't want to wait for the line or be in rush hour, so this is a good time to show up. My partner in the biz is going to be right there. 3 o'clock and all's wet. My poor friend Susan. Get under the tent and stay dry, and I'll help you afterwards.
What t-shirt cut?
Another rainy Mount Dora setup. Yay. Rain actually came half an hour early. I'm so glad I had just covered everything, so I'm dry and waiting it out.
The corner set.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you. Yeah, 65 on that. Last night we had rain, but this morning it looks like blue skies, and we are here at Mount Dora. We are just about to open for the first day of the extravaganza, and well, I've got a lot of fresh stock, so I'm excited to see what the response is. Well, the response turned out to be great. In spite of the chilly weather, we had fun with a whole bunch of viewers that we hadn't met before and some who we had seen in the past. This is Ashley. We had a good time, and you see the blue skies, but boy, it was cold, so I did not get out to shop until Sunday. I'm going to show you that in a minute. Here is our friend Sandy from My Flippin' Van Life. A whole bunch of YouTubers are coming to this month's Mount Dora show this weekend, so hopefully we'll see you there too. On Sunday mornings, I leave the booth closed and I bundle up and I go shopping. I like the fire nozzle. That's pretty cool. What do you get for that?
Like $100 for it.
100? That's pretty fair.
It's fair.
Well, here's some old flash views out of the 60s. Let's twist. Ooh, look at her dance. And they also seem to have the baseball player. And it's a swing and a miss.
Thanks.
You could definitely find anything in here. Here's old Charlie Tuna.
Charlie Tuna.
How much is Charlie Tuna?
He is $10.
$10. Okay, thank you.
And he has.
Oh, I see. He's got the tie bar with him. So is that a set then for 10 or?
Yeah, I'll sell them both for 10 if you want.
Okay, I think I'll take them.
All right.
This is pretty. I don't know if it's plastic or glass. I'll have to take my gloves off to see. It seems to have a magnetic edge. Here's something fun from the 50s or 60s, a musical lighter, so you wind it up and it plays Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. How appropriate. They seem to have a Gators football helmet there. Well, here's a way to display jewelry. You get a whole bunch in a small space this way. And they do have some pretty pins here. A lot of larger pins, sign pieces, mainly in the $25 to $45 range. This black one down here says it's Weiss. Let's see what the price on that is. It's certainly easy to shop this way. And you have to take them off so people won't run off with them. That's nice. The Sarah Coventry smiley face pin. That's a classic. Seems to be missing. Nope, there's the other eye. Don't see a price on that. I don't think I have one of these right now, and they are typically a very easy sale, so we'll find out about that. $14 on the Russian enamel. This big clustery pin is a Florenza. Popular in the 70s. They tended to do these very encrusted designs. They've got $125 on that. The Monet frog here is $20. This is fun with a lot of dangles. It's a no name. They've got cute stuff. I don't see anything priced the way I would need to buy it, but I like it. Oh, the sun. What a relief. We're going to definitely hang out in the sun for a while because it is very chilly. A couple of boat motors on stands here. And yes, boat motors are definitely collectible. I like the Evinrude stand that this is on from an old boat store. I doubt they're selling the stand, but it's $600 for the little Elto Ace motor. Cool little trade stimulator. Before gambling was legal in a lot of places, you could bet and win cigarettes. If you got 3 Raleighs, for example. Mobile Oil Arctic, this is an old time store display, and what's great is that it actually has the correct filler nozzles on all of them, and that makes a big difference. The proper bottles really do increase the value. When I was a kid, you'd see these old gas cans and oil cans sitting in old barns and things, and we knew they were neat. We had no idea they'd be worth hundreds of dollars later, or we'd have probably kiped all of them, I suppose. But we were good kids, so we left them where they were, and now some other person got them and they're for sale here. So many different varieties, they're really neat. And these larger square that hold a gallon or sometimes an imperial gallon or 2 gallons are priced anywhere from, gosh, $125 and up, depending on the graphics. The Quaker State medium oil that's thin here is an unusual one from about 1930, priced at $6.75. So this is a whole subcategory of collecting in the realm of gas and oil petroleana, along with things like oil cans. If you're not looking for specific pieces of costume jewelry, but you want craft jewelry, well, they've got bags and bags of that, and then jewelry galore in general. Well, this is one of the hills that you come into, and they are definitely getting some business. It is looking busy. I probably need to go see about opening, but it's so cold, I just don't know if I can handle it. We definitely get spoiled being in Florida. Your blood adjusts very quickly, and then 45 degrees seems like a horrible temperature. A lot of people up north right now would kill to be in 45 degrees. Florida may not be a big surf culture place in terms of having big surf, but the surfboard thing is definitely something you see here, and the skateboard thing. A whole bunch of Givenchy on the original cards. Givenchy is definitely a newer name in jewelry worth looking for. Most of these are 1980s and 90s, but they are collectible now, and you see bracelets and necklaces as well. There's Christian Dior. I like these big dangle earrings in the pink, which are Barrera, a name you don't see quite so often. They have a lot of really very pretty jewelry in this case. This one is $150. It's Higgins glass. It's one of the drop bowls where they drop the center. Just beautiful, great colors. This is a later piece, so it doesn't say Higgins around the edge, but it absolutely is one of their pieces. Just beautiful. Great design. These are Ceramic Art Studio, and they are shelf sitters. So they would sit like this on the edge of the shelf. If it was a little straighter, it wouldn't roll off, but we're gonna set them right there so they stay safe. Ceramic Art Studio was a good company out of Madison, Wisconsin, and there's their mark on the bottom of those from about 1950. This very peculiar little piece is a McCoy wall pocket. It looks like a trivet. I've never seen this before. The mark does seem correct, and it doesn't seem like they would have reproduced this piece because it's not one of the more famous pieces of McCoy, so I think I'm going to take a chance on that. Oh, you have some interesting pieces of china here. This looks like a railroad pattern, but I don't recognize it.
Yeah. Well, my wife and I used to collect those things, and I had so much I couldn't have filled. I have sold a lot.
Yes.
3 or 4 tables, I couldn't have filled them up with it.
Oh, it's so neat with all the airbrushing. Yeah, I just love the patterns.
But they all really nice.
They really are. Wow, look at this big barrel. Lots of things came in barrels in the old days. Dishes came in barrels, and Zanzibar brand coriander came in barrels. And you can even see the factory. This looks like something from about 1920. I've always liked these folding deck chairs made of wood. If I can buy them for $10 or $15, they usually sell for about $25 or $30, and there's a whole group of them all together. Sometimes they'll have advertising on them and they're worth more, or they'll have the original organization stencil on them. Here's a bunch of fun telephones. They put new centers in them because you could put the bell system thing in there. I like this one. This is the Flying Saucer rotary phone from Northern Telecom. Those were made in Canada, and they made some really neat stuff that was differently styled than what we were used to. AT&T wall phones here. This one on the left says Bell System by Western Electric. The Princess phone, it started as a rotary, then it became push button. If you have the first year push button that doesn't have the pound sign, those are worth a lot of money. Nice looking two-tone here. And then your greens and reds, these are the Model 500, which a lot of us grew up with. If you're a little bit older, you might have grown up with this model instead. The ITT in the orange here with the rotary dial is pretty cool. I was really surprised how busy it was in spite of the fact that it was cold, but everything to the north of us was even colder, so people put on their coats and were happy to be down where we were in the 50s. There's a hot piece of Burmese glass on a cold day, and it was just so fun visiting with everyone. I'm excited that the weather's going to be better this weekend. We should have a huge turnout. Oksana came to shop for jewelry in my space, and gosh, we just had so much fun. Everybody who came by was just really delightful, and I'm excited to see them again this weekend. And I always get a kick out of these dogs. These are 1950s versions, Japanese, based on 1930s German versions. And they are decanters. This one says he's for rye. Decoupage nudes, that's right out of the 70s. Victor has been set up back here forever and ever because he is the end of the cul-de-sac, and because he's the last person you see, he actually does pretty well. He shares my theory about if you can't be at the front of the show, be at the back of the show. I always thought the seal cookie jar by Doreen of California was a cute piece. Doreen was a company that only lasted into the early 70s and then was gone. $49.50 on that. Sometimes when it's breezy elsewhere, the place to be is inside the antique mall where the consignments are. You can find deals in there. I've certainly bought in there as a reseller. And under the pavilions, because the pavilions have a little bit more shelter. And so this is a nice place to be. I just sold my lamp like this at this show, and we had the same exact price on it. They have a question mark on their tag, but they are right. This is Blanco. This is the Vineyard line. It is the chalice. They didn't make chalices in too many lines. They did it in this, and they did it in air twist, and I believe that's all. This is early 1960s. A lot of people confuse RRP, Robinson Ramsbottom Pottery Company, with Roseville, because RRP actually was in the town of Roseville, Ohio, whereas Roseville was made in Zanesville. Very cute little pieces that you rarely see. They did do some things other than crockery and kitchenware and that sort of thing. These little planters are not easily found. They're asking for $65 each. These are going to be from the 1950s. I like the snail in particular. Another Sasha Brastoff impersonator, I guess you would say, was Marc Belleaire. Marc Belleaire they all had connections to one another, and Marc Belleaire did really fun, fanciful designs. His have a lot of harlequins and dancers. The shapes are really fun, just like Sasha Brastoff's were. This is how they're typically signed. This is the Mardi Gras line. All these pieces are Mardi Gras, and they're priced between $45 for the little tray, $75 for the two-lobed, $80 for the large piece. Those are pretty typical prices for Belleaire. Back when Pink Panther was just a detective and this guy was not yet a famous cartoon character, the Pink Panther movie came out and the Pink Panther soundtrack, and I played it to death as a kid. The theme to Pink Panther, perhaps more than any other song, got into the consciousness of a younger generation and probably has helped keep the art of jazz alive. These folks have a lot of really nice quality slipware, salt glaze, crockery, and just some really attractive examples. $145 on the one on the right. I really like this one because it's got the Worcester, Massachusetts maker name on it, and that makes a big difference. People like anything with the feather design. Feathers, flowers. There is the bee sting on the right there. That's a famous pattern. Now here is real Flow Blue. Flow Blue typically is earlier, it's thicker. The blue flows sometimes all the way onto the back. When they first figured out how to do transfer wear using decals between the clear glaze and the base of the piece, sometimes the clear glaze would cause it to run, and the English did not like that. They considered that a factory second. They sent it all to the United States on boats and sold it to us, and we ate it up. And so even today, the collectors of Flow Blue are in the United States. The English do not have an appreciation for it. They want the pieces where the transfer did not run, like on this piece here. I've always liked spongeware and spatterware. They literally use sponges to apply the glaze and just kept repeating it, just like people sponge painted walls about 20 years ago. $35 on the little pig bank and $75 on the big bowl here, both from about 1900. These are really beautiful in frames. These are strip puzzles. They were not interlocking. This was just for children to make it easy for them. Look how cool the graphics. I like the owl and the macaw. Framing this is a really great way to preserve them where you can see them and enjoy them every day instead of having them in a bag or a box. Yes, there is estate jewelry here as well. A lot of fine jewelry in this case. I love fine jewelry and I would love to show more of it, but for security purposes, we usually don't want to spend a lot of time lingering on it because some of those dealers have a great deal of money invested in their inventory and they are afraid of reproductions coming out if their designs are taken. This is really fun, the old electric meter that's been turned into a lamp. This looks like something done with a 1980s era lamp. They have 145 on it. This fellow has the most incredible selection of tabletop phonographs and players from the early 1900s. And I think I've shown some of his stuff before, but I just wanted to show you the booth because it's so amazing. When you see them all together, you understand why people like to collect them. I just sold the little table like this that I bought in Spokane, and I always like the Californian and Mexican tile tables. I'm not sure which this is. I'm leaning towards Mexican because it doesn't have quite as much detail. I like that amber piece. It's 125, the pendant with the large stone and the sterling mount. That reminds me a lot of the things I saw in Gdansk when I was there. The bracelet next to it is nice too. Look at the amazing, brilliant blue color of the glass stones in that check glass pin in the middle there. A. Thomas Schomburg is still living. He's a Colorado sculptor and artist. I really like this. It's called the Iron Cross, but it is a gymnast holding himself up by the hoops in the position of the cross. It's a really interesting piece. This one was done in the 1980s. We do see some original sculpture and art at this show. I like the yo-yo quilt, all the little circles put together. And this is a nice big one. Usually they're smaller than this. 1930s and 40s typically. And they've actually got several quilts and appliques that are really pretty. I like the chenille in the middle with the basket especially. As you know, I'm originally from there, and I can't believe you actually found a cork that fits.
No, actually, I just happened to find that by accident.
Oh, really?
Yes. I was going to repair it, but I was like, I don't want to.
I know. You start messing with it, and then if it doesn't come out, then you're stuck. Exactly.
So at least the bottom piece is not stuck. It's just
Yeah.
not worry about.
Just got to figure out how to put it back together again. Well,
It's proper glue, that's the thing.
exactly. Well, you know what? I will get the proper glue because I sell these back in Seattle. I take them back with me.
Okay.
So I would like to have that.
Okay.
This is a set of Indiana glass fruit pieces from late 70s, early 80s, and I've actually always liked this. The texturing and the colors are good. I think this will start being collectible. Well, this is Art, and he just sold me a cool Space Needle decanter, which I'm very happy about. Looks like he's got a customer for some more stuff, so I better not hold him up. But I'm just very excited to meet you. I'm glad you're watching the channel, and hey, we'll have fun together again. Now that I know you're here, I'll come shop you every time.
Thank you, sir.
I always like Belleaire shamrock, and this is just a small piece that they've made for years, but this is an art space, and this has the black mark. The last black mark was 1946, so this actually has some age, and the price is not bad at all, and it is the shamrock, which sells well, so I think I'll ask Art if I can put this in my bag too. A picker just brought me this. It's relatively contemporary, but it's really beautiful. It's on abalone. This is all done in sterling with amethyst. This is someone I know, so I felt comfortable buying from them. It's not something I suspect has a stolen pedigree or something. There is a little maker's mark right there, so I'm going to look it up and see if that's important. This clasp here makes it relatively contemporary. He said he'd had it about 20 years. I don't believe it to be any older than that, but I do think it's a really pretty piece with a good style and it should sell well. Gave it to me for a price where I think somebody who really likes big sterling jewelry will think it's cool.
We're from Northern Ontario, basically where Lake Huron and Lake
where the lakes meet?
Yeah, Lake
yes.
Superior,
Oh, how
Lake
nice.
Huron, yeah.
That looks quite beautiful there, and rather off on your own.
Yeah.
Now, this is really cool. So this is a 1940s rotating toothbrush, and I've never seen one. No, I'm glad you brought this. Hit the button. Let's see what it does. Wow. Hey, like the original water pick. Another YouTube creator sighting. This is Lily Pond Vintage. We're expecting a whole bunch of people, including out-of-state YouTubers, to come see us this weekend, so you never know who you'll see. Well, I might need a haberdasher to get something a little more attractive than this hoodie on today, but it's a cold day and I'm leaving it. I'm going to go open up my booth. I really encourage you to come visit the next Mount Dora show or a real-world antique show in your area. You get to see and touch and feel all this stuff, find out all the things that you didn't see online that are interesting, and then you can go do more research and, well, you might become a collector. If you enjoyed this video, check out this one. Also, click thumbs up to like this video and check the description for information about our Patreon, our memberships. We've got a lot of different levels with different perks and bonus videos and early content. Also, please do check out our website, theantiquenomad.com, for appraisal help. And we'll see you again for more adventures in the antique and vintage community soon. Bye for now.